Wednesday, he was one of the most unlikely American heroes.
So what did you steal this time? If they catch you again, you're going to do time.
But with the champion's courage and a father who wouldn't give up, he turned his life around.
I'm just so proud of you.
You haven't even begun to be proud of me, Dad.
Driven by a passionate dream for victory.
I'm scared I talk too much and I might not be able to back it up.
From a police record to the record books.
Bring it home, son.
Dennis Weaver, Anthony Edwards, going for the gold. The Bill Johnson story, Wednesday.
Kiev, where Nazi occupation brought suffering, betrayal, and mass murder to the Russian front. A special series continues tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Beginning Sunday, May 19th, Christopher Columbus.
I do expect to lose you to the sea someday, but on our wedding night?
3 women captivated him. His wife, to whom he gave his heart. The mistress, to whom he gave his love. And the warrior queen, to whom he gave a new world. Christopher Columbus.
This is CBS.
Coming up on News 15 Nightbeat, a man is questioned concerning a fatal shooting this morning.
The Sharon Lapp case takes a twist.
Neighborhood Association members air concerns about safety tonight.
And William Schrader takes a turn for the worse. Details next on News 15 Nightbeat.
Sizzle, Hardee's gives you 3 whole strips of crunchy bacon. Come for Hardee's combo deal, a sizzling, crunchy, tasty meal. A Hardee's bacon cheeseburger with 3 whole strips of crunchy bacon, hot French fries and coleslaw. Drink the baconist.
Hardee's Bacon Cheeseburger Combo with more bacon than Wendy's or Burger King. Regular fries and a medium Coke. It's all just $1.99.
Hardee's Bacon Cheeseburger with 3 whole strips of crunchy bacon, hot French fries and coleslaw. Drink just $1.99. Hardee's.
News 15, working harder for you.
Good evening, I'm Liz Berry.
And I'm Ken Owen. A Fort Wayne man brought in for questioning today about a fatal East Side shooting is now behind bars. 26-year-old Arthur Walker, Jr. of 2210 Oliver was questioned by police earlier today for the morning shooting of 42-year-old Tommy Davis. He was booked on a charge of criminal recklessness unrelated to the Davis case. Prosecutor Steve Sims, however, says the investigation into the Davis case is continuing. Davis was found dead this morning after being shot in the chest. He was found in a house next door to where he lived. Walker is being held on $5,000 bond.
The probe into the murder of Sharon Lapp has taken a bizarre turn. At the time of her death last week, Lapp was apparently working on an underground newspaper which pointed some incriminating fingers at City Hall. News 15's Maureen Lauer has this report on the latest turn of events.
This is The Messenger, an anonymous newsletter which promised to show, quote, what goes on behind the closed doors of city government. At least 2 issues were drafted and circulated to city officials and citizens as early as February. The anonymous letters are now believed to have been written by Sharon Lapp. Safety Director Larry Consalvos told News 15 a partially drafted version of a new edition was found in Lapp's typewriter the night she was stabbed to death. Consalvos would not comment on the content, but did say previous issues of The Messenger, hand-delivered to his office, blasted the administration, the police chief, and himself for failing to adequately deal with crime in Fort Wayne.
We talked with one police officer, a friend of Sharon Lapp's, who confirmed that she had been keeping files on city officials for quite some time. The officer said, quote, she was always looking for corruption in city government, not for blackmail purposes, but the kinds of things that would be turned over to the prosecutor's office.
And now, whatever files Sharon Lapp did have are in the hands of the prosecutor under what's called dual control of evidence. Prosecutor Steve Sims says he was notified of the file's contents Friday and says, quote, our office will examine the materials, and after we have a chance to examine the facts of the case, we'll make a determination on what changes, if any, need to be made in the investigation. But for now, the investigation is continuing under standard procedures. Police still have no motive and no suspects in the slaying. Noreen Lauer, News 15.
Presidents of Fort Wayne's neighborhood associations are concerned about safety in the wake of the Sharon Lapp murder. Tonight they met with Public Safety Director Larry Consalvos to talk about how police and residents can work together to reduce crime in the neighborhoods. Gonsalves told the group for a city its size, Fort Wayne is very safe.
The incident with Sharon Lapp is not any reason for them not to believe that they live in a safe area, nor should they become lax, but to stay in contact with the police, to continue the neighborhood watch programs, and to help continue the safety of Fort Wayne that we have now.
Alton Coleman is scheduled to die in Ohio's electric chair on September 4th. Today, Hamilton County Judge Richard Niehaus sentenced Coleman to death for the July 1984 murder of Marlene Walters. In pronouncing the sentence, Niehaus said civilized society cannot tolerate conduct like Coleman's. Coleman and his common-law wife, Deborah Brown, are charged in a series of kidnappings and murders across the Midwest, including the murder of a young Gary girl. Brown was also convicted in the Walters killing, but will not receive the death penalty.
Some distressing news out of Louisville tonight. Artificial heart recipient William Schrader is back in Humana Hospital this evening, suffering from a brain hemorrhage. Schrader, who is the first transplant patient of his kind to be released from the hospital, was readmitted after he became too weak to get out of bed. He is listed in critical condition. Doctors will do more tests on Schrader to pinpoint the problem. The Jasper, Indiana man received his artificial heart on November 25th. President Reagan has wrapped up an emotional stay in West Germany and is now in Spain. Before leaving the country this morning, the president called on youth to unify both East and West Germany. The president got some heat this weekend for yesterday's visit of the Bitburg Cemetery, where Nazis are buried. But all that behind him, the president continued on to Madrid, where he was met by King Juan Carlos and Queen Sofia.
Back home, Hollywood traveled to Washington, D.C. today on behalf of American farmers. Oscar winners Jessica Lange, Sissy Spacek, and Jane Fonda all appeared before Democratic members of the House Farm Task Force to talk about the problems farmers are facing. Fonda accused President Reagan of giving better tax breaks to those who invest in farms as a tax shelter than to those who actually work the land.
And coming up, the state school superintendent seat is vacant again.
And we'll begin our special series on being single at Fort Wayne. Back in just a minute.
Celebrate May Value Days with fantastic savings on patio furniture, sofas, bedrooms, and more at Kirker's Furniture Gallery, 1121 West Washington Center Road.
Passport, please. What, Dad? Why, it's the Opryland USA passport to a whole world of country music.
It gives you 3 days at Opryland Show Park.
And a cruise on the General Jackson Showboat.
The new Anchor Theater Show.
A Grand Ole Opry matinee and more.
A $50 value, just $39.95.
How could I get one of these passports for myself?
Just call 1-800-USA-OPRY.
God, call that number. I could use a little vacation myself, huh?
When you're young, you only think about your goals, your dreams. But once you have a family, your future doesn't seem nearly as important as theirs. Their dreams become your dreams. You make sacrifices, not minding a bit. And you buy life insurance to make sure their dreams can come true. That's why American Family Insurance says, you don't buy life insurance for you, you buy it for them.
In Fort Wayne, see Lynn Stuckey or Tony Becker, your American Family agents.
For over 100 years, the great American home of Buffalo Bill Cody has survived some of America's worst weather. The paint that protects this historic home, the Weather Beater from Sears. A paint so tough, so durable, it's become America's best seller. Sears Weather Beater for great American homes like yours.
There's more for your life at Sears.
The man who has served as acting superintendent of Indiana schools is stepping down. Robert Krajewski, who has been in the top post since Superintendent Harold Negley first took a leave of absence in March, told the governor today he's resigning. Krajewski says he wants to go back to his full-time job as superintendent of East Chicago schools. Jan Regnier will replace Krajewski. Negley resigned in April and was indicted by a grand jury for misconduct while in office. Under sunny skies, the Space Shuttle Challenger returned to Earth today. The shuttle touched down at Edwards Air Force Base at exactly 11 minutes past noon, carrying its crew of 7 and assorted animals. The 2 monkeys and 24 rats that were taken on this 7-day flight will be flown to Cape Kennedy. The monkeys will be kept alive, but no such luck for the rats. They'll be killed so scientists can study the effects of space on their internal organs.
What's it like being single in Fort Wayne? Are there enough places to go and things to do? Can you meet that special someone in a bar? Those are just a few of the questions we'll examine over the next 4 nights in a special series of reports. Tonight, a look at the changing perceptions of singles. In days gone by, it was common for a man and woman to get married at a young age, often right out of high school. Although that still exists today, times have changed. Figures from the U.S. Census Bureau show a dramatic rise in Fort Wayne's single population over the past 20 years. Singles comprised about 15% of the local population back in 1960, but by the 1980 census, that figure had nearly tripled. In fact, the singles population more than doubled between 1970 and 80. This figure makes Fort Wayne look like a singles paradise. The last nationwide census showed that 4 out of 10 Fort Wayne residents were single, whereas across the U.S., fewer than 2 out of 10 people were unmarried. As the figures show, more people are single today than ever before, and there's a reason for that. The social perception of just what it is to be single has changed.
Being single is now accepted a lot more. People enjoy being single. They have a lot more freedom. They feel they're in charge of their lives. Women are now enjoying being single. There are a lot more alternatives.
The people that are our age, in terms of myself being 24, are coming up and seeing all these, 45, 50% divorce rates, and are really paranoid about that, in terms of, God, do I want to get in a long-term relationship with somebody? And they look at that and they say, well, not really, not yet.
You get a chance to explore. You get a chance to meet a lot of people that you ordinarily would not meet if you were married, because you have other responsibilities.
Our generation is holding out a little bit longer, and I think it's good, because there's a lot of good years ahead of you.
Men are ready to settle down, and women are just being free now.
Is that a change over the past couple of years?
Oh yes, definitely.
I plan on being a bachelor as long as I possibly can. I don't know, I think life will be a lot easier that way. I'm kind of hesitant to find the right person, because you never know what they're going to be thinking about. Well, if the marriage doesn't work out, that fine, we'll get a divorce, no big deal, I think marriage is a higher sanctity than that.
37-year-old Ed McCutcheon has been married and divorced. Ed says at this stage of his life, it's difficult to meet people and tell what they're looking for.
30 to 40-year-olds, women and men both, are very unsure about what they should be doing. We've been through a lot. We've been through this. I could take the war again, because that was a lot of changes happened to people. A lot of the divorce was then accepted. Now marriage is coming back again. We've been through all different phases. You hit 30 to 40, and all of a sudden you're a little bit lost in where you should be.
Counselor Vicki Grove says times are indeed changing. She says the macho man that every woman wanted just a few years ago is no longer desirable. Today, she says, women are looking for a sensitive, sharing male with a sense of humor. Above all, Grove says women have an option now that was considered taboo in years past, and that is staying single.
You're not an old maid anymore. You have just made a different choice for yourself.
Is there enough for singles to do in Fort Wayne? We'll hear responses to that question in our next segment tomorrow. And Jay Higgins has all the sports coming up later in the newscast.
But first, Maureen Tighe says the sun will come out tomorrow. Stay with us.
I grew up with Toro equipment here at Latrobe. I know it lasts. That's why our new rider is a Toro. It's so durable. It carries a 2-year warranty. All the Toro riders do. And talk about versatility. It side discharges, vacuums leaves, mulches, even bags. And it makes one heck of a golf cart.
Save now during the Toro Open Sale at North Webster Welding, Leesburg, and Shearer and Maxfield. Leo.
In the country, out under the sky, working the land, and finding life work. There's nothing like it on earth.
See Kubota at Moore Farm Store, Columbia City, and Lee's in New Haven.
Ford has just announced a special dealer incentive on Thunderbirds, and Allen County Motors is passing it on to you. Buy any new Thunderbird from Allen County Motors and you'll receive air conditioning absolutely free. That means you can buy an 85 Thunderbird for as low as $99.99 with automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes, AM/FM stereo, and many other features, including free air conditioning. Test drive your Thunderbird today, because at $99.99, they're bound to disappear. Have you driven an Allen County Motors Thunderbird lately?
Tonight, following News 15 Night Beat, WKRP is your best bet for entertainment.
Really sense, you know, that you have become more prosperous and I think slightly effeminate.
Johnny's ex-girlfriend returns with a hug, a warm smile, and a lawsuit. Tonight at 10:30 on WKRP in Cincinnati.
Normally, a sunny forecast is greeted with a lot of applause and big smiles by people in newsrooms, but really we need some rain. We have not had much in a long time, and you even go out and walk around in your bare feet over the weekend. The ground is really hard right now.
It really is. We need the rain, but there's not much that we're going to be able to do about it over the next few days. We had just a spattering of rain across the area this morning, and that's going to be about it till the end of the week. We are looking for warm weather and also